Hello YouTube, welcome back to my playthrough of Ace Attorney Investigations. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. Let's continue where we left off. Ooh, what is that incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bat, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bat and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Aw, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks, I'll treasure it always. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here, I've got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bat. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant, so I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up, the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. What an incredibly strong scented herbal tea. I fear that more than being relaxing, this scent may make one a bit heady instead. You put in a special request for that. No wonder she's so violent, if she's been drinking this stuff the whole time. Neither woman should be allowed to comment on this particular topic ever. That expensive painting is ill-suited to be hanging on the wall of this room. I wonder if a guard detail should be placed on it. Why do you say that? Well, the desperate little paid detective might make off with it someday, you never know. She may be thinking about hiring a guard. But it's obvious she isn't factoring in that guard's salary whatsoever. This window. One of the windows in this lobby is open as well. The air conditioner is working just fine in this room, so why did they open it, I wonder? This window, I feel like, is the key to the murder scene. The murderer somehow got in that room, but how if there's bars in the window? This window is very important. This decorative plant's leaves are shinier than the ones on the plant in lobby number 2. That's probably because it's next to the windows, where it's easier to photosynthesize. You may be right. Plus, the curtains, are always drawn in lobby number 2. The caretakers of this courthouse don't think enough about the plants, do they? That's because they're the courthouse caretakers, not a bunch of botanists. It may not look like much, but I find that ordinary tables like this one are very useful. I think it's time they bought a new one. I wonder if they will replace this table if I hit it enough with my whip. A much too heavy-handed method if I ever saw one. The television is the same model as the one in defendant lobby number 2. It looks like the two rooms are basically the same in terms of layout and supplies. Yes. 2 rooms are basically the same, huh? Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for?
Nothing that concerns you, boy.
Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay.
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste.
It sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Be that as it may, we still have questions that need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is that overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
It's that ultra-strong perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here.
Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap, no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have us there, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without a fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? It's probably giving evidence, is it? It is evidence. Perfume given to Bad by you. Same perfume as the one spilled in lobby number 1. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic.
Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating.
Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about.
Tish.
During the recess. So you were in this room the entire recess.
Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end it here.
At least your story's consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu.
Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here.
Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in 2 different locations.
Yes, I am.
Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you.
Both.
Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG8 incident, and as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were a lead detective on the case.
You knew?
I also knew that today's trial involving the Kodopian embassy staff member is being referred to as a second KG8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG8 incident.
If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you.
Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident.
It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we 3 were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring.
You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries?
That trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed.
Then what became of the second secretary who was arrested?
His name was Colin Devoray. To be honest, that guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devoray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another,
scapegoat. So that's Oliver Deacon again. The boss man of the Amano group. He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted, once for murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him.
That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece. I was supposed to protect them both.
Miss Yu did mention that as well, while Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister.
But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap.
What? You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident.
I see.
I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had to hit a brick wall as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu.
Relation to you. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not?
Yes, Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying, "You're sorry, won't bring my sister back," she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself, that she never wanted to see either of us ever again.
But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah, Faraday and I, even after the KG incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big?
It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the leading detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as a defense attorney.
Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending him.
Yeah. Yu was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time, for the same reason.
Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to that same effect. I had my own agenda. I was still on the hunt for the leads regarding the KG8 incident. Alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. Doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable.
You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are.
How dare you insult the daughter of Von Karma?
Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all.
The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman.
You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all.
Relation to Faraday. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well.
I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor, known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together.
But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either.
I sense that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into Yatagarasu is what's necessary. Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me?
What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. The KG-8 incident and the second KG-8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong at the beginning. I'm pronouncing it right again. I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to pronouncing it correctly, guys. And in both these cases, the witness who was told to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday, Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If I will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Still accidentally whipped me anyway.
There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever.
I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder.
That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was no other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu, sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicly and publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a secret few others knew about.
In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it?
That's easy. As special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure.
And just what sort of card is it?
Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was.
And that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes. His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you?
Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive.
I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. September 10, District Court, Courtroom number 3.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh.
It appears that his Honor is still a bit dispirited.
For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. Oh, I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony.
Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francisca, there's no need to further depress his Honor. But I'm not trying to 2 Miles. Your Honor.
There.
Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor? The evidence. Your Honor!
Oh! Yes. Can I help you?
I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job?
Yes. I'm sorry. And I would expect that the defense attorney has yet to arrive.
She is busy with the investigation. So let's keep this brief, shall we?
Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into this case.
Understood, Your Honor. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those 2 men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case, and maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth.
I've placed all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you.
I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. So this is the evidence related to today's Kodopian Embassy trial for Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial is about. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. You see, someone is still sure about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope, and what's this organizer doing here?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you.
About what, Your Honor?
They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it to be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation.
Detective Bad said that. What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it, too. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. It looks like he wrote a strategy for getting Mr. Rel convicted, down here. I collected the evidence I need to prove that Rel was the killer. Between the handgun Rel hid on him when he was arrested, and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how we may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Faraday wrote his strategy for winning it here. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key. A key to what? And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design of the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned as organizer? The Yatagarasu's key. Detective Bat said something earlier.
What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy. The Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about.
Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As a prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. A photo of the key the Yatagarasu sent. It has a rather unusual shape. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it's never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Kodopian staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did this knife that was used to commit to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? He was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courtroom? Faraday probably brought it in. You need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there's one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francisco. What? Then what is it? Is the key really the knife? Is that really the case? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into this courthouse. That's the knife. The key?
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions as organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francisco, to see what I mean. Don't the colored ornate ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of that knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let's examine this knife in a little more detail. I want to see this handle. Yep, I knew it. I knew it. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key to the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. A photo of the key to Yatagarasu sent. It turns into a knife. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bat said earlier,
But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card,
yeah, he didn't know.
Rel had no idea what it was.
I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Weapon used to kill a Faraday has a secret ability to change into a key of the Yatagarasu, set. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Canopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rel still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should, perfectly and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mackerel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perfect he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rel was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera. The Canopian embassy security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. That's important. Maybe he knew there was. Maybe he wanted to be on tape. Or maybe that's not actually him because there was a hat in the video. So have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took. Was played during the trial of Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rel on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage is included sound, right? I don't think I've ever wanted to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And that piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. The surveillance video, yeah. How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rel committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed?
Are you done with your inspection of the evidence?
Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties?
What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for?
No, Your Honor. The most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me.
But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere in the crime scene.
There's something wrong here. Yeah, when that music is playing. That's the bad music. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. September 10, 6 p.m. Oh my god, is that Lang? That's Detective Bad. But who is he with? I've never seen an officer before.
So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh, so you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes.
How dare you? Just who do you think you are? What was that all about? Who was that man just now? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him?
I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
It looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head.
Ah, so that mirror wasn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now?
The guy came here from the Republic of Zangfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree, however, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I'll take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight up behind it from him. I wonder if the killer used these plastic bags in a flash of inspiration. With that detective, I somehow doubt, he's that quick-witted. So you're saying that this crime, was, thought out in advance. With that detective, I somehow doubt he's capable of making such a complex plan. Francisca, when will you learn to take responsibility for your statements? You must be tired, Francisca. Care to take a short break on that sofa? Surely you jest. Me? Sit on that tiny, dirty, disgusting thing? That detective said he could sleep all 24 hours in a day on it. Was this table here all along? I suppose so.
Objection!
Well, clearly it's out of place. When you take the sofa into consideration, that table is much too tall. You get the impression that the two are not meant to be used as a set, Francisca. I knew that. It seems that she's lost her calm sense of judgment and her eagerness to defeat me. Earlier we're in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad.
Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say.
I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you, one way or another. Would it kill you to help us with a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think?
Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
Time of the murder. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about these things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything?
He should.
Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Detective Bad, did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph?
Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case.
In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same?
What? That's impossible!
It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for.
Yeah, that's right.
And why were you searching for it?
Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life?
Detective Bad. But we have a very important piece of evidence right now. Whoever used that key knife, to kill, because he or she killed, Mr. Faraday with, knew that the knife turns into a key. So they knew that. That's important. So that we may find the truth, please. Testify for me once more.
All right. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change.
Detective Bad, I ask you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1.
My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this.
That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Detective Bad's movements.
I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed down the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran to lobby number 2.
It sounds like the exact same story you told us before. Indeed, however, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Detective Bad's movements, okay.
I was in lobby number 1 talking with you.
Hold it!
Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me!
Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all.
So his answer remains the same as before, I see.
We were talking about some trivial things.
Hold it!
What trivial things? I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu.
Trivial stuff. It was nothing important.
That's for me to decide. I love that answer. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then.
I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene.
Hold it!
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
That gunshot Detective Bat heard was the sound from the murder. That would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now.
Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
Hold it!
Detective Bat, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else.
Yeah,
Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation you missed something?
I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it.
I suppose with this detective, that's probably very likely.
So the gunshot. When he heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together.
Hold it!
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away?
Because we clearly heard that sound of a gunshot, and we knew it came from somewhere nearby.
And how did you know that it was a gunshot?
In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know.
I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like.
But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was. I saw Gumshoe goofing off around there, and then we all ran to lobby number 2.
Hold it!
Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway.
Yeah,
Why didn't you attest to that earlier?
when I saw Gumshoe, it was after I had heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed.
Sounds exactly like what Detective Bat told us before, however. Is there something in particular we should be asking a detective about? There just might be. No one knew that the knife actually is a Yatagarasu's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now what Detective Bat doesn't yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack.
Objection!
I would like to show the contradiction in your statement with this.
And how will you do that? Because I can't see how you can.
Would you care to explain how you plan to do that? Yes, well, okay. This is wrong, so I'm gonna skip through this here. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Oh, I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. The balloon, right. The balloon popped. He should have heard this.
Objection!
He should have heard the balloon pop, right. That's what it is. He should have heard the balloon pop. Detective Bat, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything?
It's the same color as the one Kay was holding.
Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon.
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her.
Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon.
So, what about the balloon?
I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point.
What are you getting at?
This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of the lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot.
Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor said that he had heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard this balloon popping as well.
So?
Well, don't give me a so. We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony.
The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking.
What?
And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of special sound-absorbing material.
Then you mean...
Since I was shoved inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
So how did you hear the gunshot then? No. I knew that was what he was going to say. And that means that Scruff-Face testimonies, is all completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course you wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle.
That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around. The other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, we examined the situation in reverse. A person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear, the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad. If that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? Yeah.
What do you mean, how? I just did.
It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your words. Exactly. I called it earlier too.
Oh? How so?
If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot, enter your ears?
I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought.
Which means, what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detective Bat and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have. The window. It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? The state of the crime scene. Wait, can it be?
It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. You spilled some of it.
The window in lobby number 1 was open to allow the perfume Miss Yu spilled, to dissipate.
Oh! And way too noisy.
Lobby number 2's television, it looks like it was set to an incredibly high volume. The surveillance video. How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Where did the surveillance tape from Mr. Faraday's bag disappear off to? Oh my god, I got it! The sound wasn't from the sound that they heard wasn't the real gunshot. The murder happened at a different time. The videotape from the Kodopian embassy was playing the murder with the shooting. That TV was playing it really loud. That's what was playing. The killer probably put that in the TV and set it to play. Lobby number 2's television looks like it was set to an incredibly high volume. Missing evidence. Where did the surveillance tape from Mr. Faraday's bag disappear off to? The TV, this... See if I'm right on this. Oh, it's not. These aren't linked. I think that the TV was playing. No human can climb through these barred windows. A scent of flowers in the air. The window in lobby number 1 is open to allow the perfume Miss Yu spilled to dissipate. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through, open barred windows. The criminal couldn't have made it through, but what about incorporeal things? Open windows. The criminal couldn't have made it through. Missing evidence. Where did the surveillance tape from Mr. Faraday's bag disappear to? Was it thrown out the window? No. What does incorporeal mean? I'm gonna Google what incorporeal means. Incorporeal. Not composed of matter, having no material existence. Very loud television. Now then, what else besides the smell can go in and out of an open barred window? Sound. The answer is sound, yep. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. Windows were open, so the gunshot could be heard. But where did it originate from? Missing evidence. Windows were open, so the gunshot could be heard. But where did it originate from? The videotape. The missing piece of evidence is a video. That shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television.
The TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. See the window? The window is wide open. The scent of flowers being blown in from the outside. So, here's what I think happened. I think Faraday and Rell were killed before, when the windows were closed, before the, before Gumshoe was assigned in front of that room. And what happened was the killer probably played the tape with the gunshot, and they heard that thinking that that is when the murder happened, but it didn't. That's probably what the killer probably used the sound to probably throw the investigation off from the videotape, to try to hide the time of death. I think it softens the heavy air in here somehow. Windows in both lobby number 1 and number 2 were open. Maybe they were trying to air out the room, just like in lobby number 1. Or maybe they sought to ease some of the tension through some fresh air. With Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell in the same room, I imagine the latter to be the case. But was there really a need to open the window just for that? It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. The tape. Could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but Detective Bad, would be alright with you if I verify the contents of this video?
Sure, knock yourself out.
Alright then, let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. This is... This is the footage of Mr. Rel shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. Video of the embassy staff member's murder. The gunshot is especially memorable.
This sound. What's the meaning of this?
I can't play the video, but... It appears Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? So, here's the trick. We were looking at this all the wrong way. We were looking at this the wrong way the entire time. This is what I love about the Ace Attorney games. The writing in these games is so good. It is so good, and these murder cases are so well written. We were looking at this whole thing the wrong way. We were thinking, what we were thinking about is we were thinking, how could somebody have killed Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel when Gumshoe was guarding the door? The windows are barred, there is no other way inside the room besides the door. They couldn't have gotten past Gumshoe, so how did the killer do it? We were trying to figure out a way that the killer could have gotten in the room. I was looking at the painting, thinking maybe there's a secret passage behind there, but now, it's not that the killer got in the room when Gumshoe was guarding it. Mr. Rel and Mr. Faraday were already dead before that. What happened was, they were killed, and then the killer, because the windows were open, played that tape of the shooting to make it seem like it played the tape of the shooting to make it sound like it was the gunshot from that murder, but it was actually the murder that Mr. Rel committed at the Kodopian staff. So the murder happened before Gumshoe was even guarding the place. That's the trick. Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. Now let's show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Earlier, when Detective Gumshoe touched this, it made a most terrible racket. You mean when Scruffy turned the television on, right? Actually, come to think of it, I don't think Detective Gumshoe actually touched the television at all. Furthermore, it seemed more like when a video feed suddenly stops, at least it did to me. I wonder why that is. So someone left the video on play this whole time, huh? I suppose so. Other than the killing, there's hardly a sound on the rest of the tape. Then why did the television make that loud noise when Scruffy got near it? That's probably because the tape had run out and stopped its playback. It's not just bad luck, the detective has the worst timing in the world too. Someone purposely left this video on play. The question is why? This piece of evidence will clear away the last remaining contradiction in this case. Miles, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different Now I'm trying to figure out where exactly the sound came from. It came from the TV, but where am I supposed to point to the evidence? I'm gonna save here. I know the answer. The killer played the TV. Maybe the window? Okay, it was the window. So I was trying to say that the VCR was playing it. It should have let you do the VCR too. That it made the sound through the window, but I guess it wanted you to specifically choose the window. If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designated for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard a gunshot. Well, the windows in lobby number 1 and number 2 were, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. But then why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose. Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? When the crime took place. The time, yup. The killer wanted to fabricate the time and death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So that's why the tape was left running.
You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. And remember what Detective Badge said. Detective Badge said that Miss Yu was not with him originally. She was with him because she was trying to make an alibi for herself. That's why he said that they were talking about trivial things. She was talking about nonsense with him because she was trying to make an alibi for herself. She killed Mr. Faraday and she killed Mr. Rell. Then she put the tape in, before Gumshoe arrived, the tape to make sure to play the gunshot sound. Then she walked in this room and talked nonsense, talked trivial things with Detective Badge specifically to create an alibi. She's the killer. She did it. Miss Yu did it. It must have been during the recess before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period. And planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Miss Yu has a lot of explaining to do right now. She has a lot of explaining to do. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. She could tamper with the evidence. No, she's the killer. I'll come along. I want to hear what...
I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say.
It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. Okay, so this case is getting really good. This is getting really, really good. This is my favorite case so far in the game. This is my favorite one so far in the game. This one. So yeah, so it's genius. It is absolutely genius when you think about it, because autopsy reports are very hard to tell the exact time of death. Autopsy reports usually will tell you a specific time frame, like usually 30 minutes, an hour, you know, around there. So autopsy reports aren't going to tell you on the dot when somebody was killed. And it was genius. It was... Remember what Detective Badge said. Miss Yu specifically did not meet with him before. She was not with him. She met with him later on. And what happened was, when she was met with him, she was talking trivial things, just nonsense. Because she was creating an alibi for herself. She killed Faraday and she killed Rell. Then what she did was she put that tape in there, and she knew that that tape was going to go off and they were going to hear the gunshot, and then she was going to be cleared of all suspicion. She did it. I'm convinced that it's her. The only thing I haven't figured out yet, the only piece of this puzzle I haven't figured out yet is I haven't figured out why is Manny Cochin here, the accused killer from the first case where her sister died. Why is he here? Because he wanted to meet her in the hallway and talk to her about something. So I wonder why he's here still. That's the only thing I haven't figured out yet. But I'm convinced that Miss Yu is involved, and Manny Cochin could probably be involved too. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this part. If you did, you drop a like. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.